100 FM The Pike, Worcester's rock station, Foreigner at 8:34. In the studio right now, we have Drew Cordeiro from Beyond Wrestling. So it's Thursday. So if you've ever been to the White Eagle on a Thursday night, then you know what I'm talking about. But if not, a few hundred people usually pack the place, right?
Absolutely.
And there's some serious wrestling going on upstairs at the White Eagle. And thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. So we're going to talk about your event you guys have going on at Ralph's tomorrow. But first, I just want to get people that don't know who you are beyond wrestling is. You've been involved in wrestling in Worcester for 20 years?
Oh, no, not that long.
Oh, okay.
We've been doing wrestling in Worcester. We started off doing shows at Electric Haze back in 2016, moved over to the White Eagle in 2017, and we've been doing weekly wrestling every Thursday night at the White Eagle for more than 2 years now.
Okay. And then you run a wrestling school at the White Eagle.
Yes,
is that still going on?
That's correct. It's called the Beyond Institute of Professional Wrestling with trainers Thomas Santel and Brian Malonis. Thomas Santel, Worcester native, more than 20 years in ring experience. And as of yesterday, we actually have 30 students actively enrolled. We've had over 40 for the entire year. That started just at January 2023, so not even a full year for that program. But we do training every Tuesday night and every Wednesday night, also at the White Eagle.
Wow. So how can people get involved in that if they want to, take their chance at getting in the ring?
Well, the best bet, send us an email, beyondwrestling@gmail.com. I'll go over the information as far as what's expected, tuition. I mean, we have some students that are in their 40s that have just started competing for the first time. We have some students in their late teens as well. So we have a great crew, incredible training. Safety is the number one priority. No necessarily athletic background, to start, but, we go over that as far as what would be expected and kind of what kind of conditioning you're responsible for on your own time and the technique that you'll learn when you're in the ring with us.
Adam Webster's a huge wrestling fan. Any interest in that, Adam, getting in the ring?
I would have a huge interest in taking some bumps and seeing what it feels like, for sure. I got back into it a couple of years ago when SmackDown came back to the DCU Center. I hadn't watched wrestling in about 20 years and got back into it, and now I'm watching 5 hours of wrestling every week. And my wife is into it now. The storylines are fantastic, and we're watching WWE Raw and SmackDown, and my friends go every Thursday and have been trying to get me down. It'd be great if we can get you to start a little earlier one day.
Definitely, yeah. So with Andy there, we're going to do a big wrestling festival called the Restival. That's going to be the 28th of December through the 31st. So we're going to be doing 11 shows in 4 days. Some of them will be starting at noon, but we've got different independent wrestling promotions from all over the country that are going to be joining us here in Worcester. So
yes.
It's awesome to see how much support there is in Worcester. We're trying to make it the epicenter for independent wrestling in the United States.
And from your school or people you've worked with, some of them have gone on to the WWE.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
As far as competitors, like right now in AEW, which is on TNT and TBS, we have over 70 competitors that have wrestled for Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open that are currently with AEW, and then over 30 that are within WWE and NXT as well. So,
wow.
We've had Kevin Owens wrestle for us before, the former Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, Donovan Dijak, Biff Busick, Drew Gulak, the list goes on and on.
All wrestled here in Worcester.
They've all wrestled here in Worcester, yeah.
Wow.
Nice. And then I was reading some get into other roles, like management. Was there a trainer that came out of the Worcester that's working for the WWE now?
Absolutely. Our initial trainer at the Beyond Institute of Professional Wrestling, agent with WWE. So to be able to balance both. So,
right.
There's a lot of opportunities within professional wrestling. Obviously, it all starts with training. That was the piece of the puzzle that was missing for us for such a long period of time, is we would be able to work with newer wrestlers from other schools. But now we'll be able to basically start people's careers at the Beyond Institute of Pro Wrestling. They can graduate to having their first matches at Wrestling Open, which is the program we do every Thursday night at White Eagle. Then they can move on to the Beyond Super Shows, like the one we have tomorrow night at Ralph's Rock Diner. We work with a website called Independent Wrestling Television. They broadcast all of our events when we have internet access, and that kind of launches those wrestlers into the national spotlight where they can be scouted by WWE and AEW. So now it can all start right here in Worcester at the school.
Nice. Now, is there anything involved, like in some of the real extreme stuff, like folding chairs, barbed wire, broken glass, staplers,
well,
things?
Our main event on New Year's Eve, we have a no-rope barbed wire match scheduled for Heavy Lies the Crown between Ricky Shane Page and Atticus Cogar, two of the wrestlers that kind of carried independent wrestling through the pandemic, doing death matches all across the country. So I don't really like running those kind of matches, but if the wrestlers want it and the fans want it, who am I to say no?
It's funny because these guys outside the ring are some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Some
and
of
then
them.
they go inside. You have to have a bit of a screw loose to get involved in this, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's tough, but it's very rewarding. The thing that I like most about wrestling is obviously there's staged elements, but the feeling that you feel when everything clicks on all cylinders, when the fans are going crazy, that's a very real feeling.
And then the other feeling is pain.
Yeah, like, come down and take a bump at the Beyond Institute
I'm
of Pro
saying.
Wrestling. Yeah,
I always bring it back to food. So you're wrestling every Thursday at the White Eagle. Have pierogies ever been involved in a match?
no pierogies in a match.
Maybe I can do something like that.
Right, bring in a food match. Actually, I think one of the organizations that's going to be running with us at the Festival, they're called Interspecies Wrestling. They definitely focus on some of the stranger elements
Oh, like
of pro
tigers
wrestling.
and stuff?
They have a wrestler named the Giant Tiger. Yeah, they have done a food fight match before. I'm hoping they don't bring that to the White Eagle because instead of the ring mat, they have a tarp.
Yeah,
and that just gets covered. The fans get covered. The floor gets covered, and it's quite the cleanup. But that's not something that Beyond Wrestling has done. But I've seen some food integrated with some fights before. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the big event tomorrow at Ralph's.
All right, I'll let you pronounce it first.
Don't do this.
Sound
all
it out,
morning.
Shu.
Here, let me bring. I got it up here somewhere.
Sound it out. The Lake in Webster is easier to pronounce.
It is serious. It's almost as many letters. The NETEOTOQUILIZTLI. NETEOTOQUILIZTLI.
Close. It's NETEOTOQUILIZTLI.
Right.
Now, what does
God bless you.
What the hell does that mean?
Right. So it's like October. It's kind of like a spooky time of year, but Halloween's kind of played out. So I was like, what about like human sacrifice, like ancient Aztec?
Okay.
And so I was doing a little Googling. I came across that word. I think it means to be like the gods.
Oh,
So,
okay. Oh, wow.
But
Huge.
there's going to be some human sacrifice at Ralph's Rock Diner tomorrow night, too, on Friday the 13th.
Awesome. Bring the kids. All right.
Human sacrifice.
So you're gonna have the ring out, and if people aren't familiar with Ralph's, there's a big parking lot out front. Is that where it's going to be?
Yep, exactly. We
Okay.
did an event back there in June, hot dog and a handshake.
I was there.
It was awesome.
That was
a blast.
fantastic. Yeah, that was a great time.
But we figure, you know what? This time of year, people are going to haunted houses. It's going to be clear tomorrow night. This is like the perfect weather for wrestling, like 50s, 60s. You know, dress warm, come in costume if you want to. But when we do our events at White Eagle, it's 21 plus to drink, but they are all ages shows tomorrow night, Ralph's Rock Diner. Don't bring the kids. It is 21 plus.
Okay.
But come to have a good time, see some professional wrestling. One of the things that I think that's so cool about the Wrestling Open and Beyond Wrestling programming is like for even the people, whether they used to like wrestling or whether they've never given wrestling a chance, I think that it improves the reputation of what wrestling is. People leave our shows having a good time. They might not leave being lifelong fans, but I think they leave with a better respect for what wrestling is.
So human sacrifice. I'm stuck on this. I have some suggestions.
I'm
if you're
stuck
looking,
on this.
I have a list of people if you're looking for suggestions
Okay.
to sacrifice.
All right.
All right.
All right, that's tomorrow. Ralph's Rock Diner here in Worcester. What time does it start again?
It's going to be 7 o'clock doors, 8 o'clock bell time, probably run until about 11 o'clock.
Okay, and that's outside at Ralph's.
Yep. If you get tickets online in advance, they're only $15. There'll be $20 cash at the door.
And do you still have special on the Genesee cans at Ralph's, or is it moved? They're $2? Yeah. All right, that's awesome. That's a good deal right there.
Let the wrestlers wrestle first, then we'll get them in the Genesee.
Okay. All right. So let's we can give away some tickets, right?
Yeah.
All right, I got 4 tickets for. Can you please say it, Drew?
NETEOTOQUILIZTLI.
Thank you very much. At Ralph's tomorrow night, some Beyond Wrestling action. Be caller 25 right now, 508-799-PIKE, 508-799-7453. And if you want to check it out more, go to beyondwrestlingonline.com, right, to just check out the whole
Exactly.
deal.
Go to beyondwrestlingonline.com. We've got a link for the tickets. We've got the full lineup for tomorrow night's event at Ralph's Rock Diner. We've got information for Wrestling Open every Thursday night at the White Eagle. Those are only $10 tickets at the door.
Nice. Well, thanks for coming in, you guys.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate
me.
it. And don't forget, tomorrow night we'll post that information online also on our X/Twitter feed at 100 FM The Pike, and we'll put it on our Instagram.